the contamination of water because of pipelines, and the rapid loss of hundreds of species. We recognize that indigenous peoples have been taking care of the earth for thousands of years. Society learned to respect that knowledge and took pieces from the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and embed them in our daily lives.
One more time here. Oh, it's a video. Okay.
Right. Hello, my name is Steve Chu. I am the main representative for Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation to the United Nations. In Chinese, Tzu Chi translates into compassionate relief, and we're mostly a humanitarian charity organization working in 99 countries around the world to provide the alleviation of suffering to those in need and to empower them to build back stronger. So for us today, following the high-level forum on the culture of peace, we really wanted to come together and celebrate with everyone what peace means for each one of us as individuals and as an organization and the collective. So for us at Tzu Chi, peace really comes from within. It's something that is born from the attentiveness and mindfulness to our thoughts and feelings, and it is put into action, and that is where peace truly exists. It's not just in the conceptual framework, but through the service to others. And so for the past couple of hours, we've been learning from all different types of individuals about their perspectives and expertise around peace building and empowering youth to become peace activists, and I found it to be a very powerful and transformative experience.
Hi, I'm George Anthony, the United Nations Pathways to Peace UN representative here at the Culture of Peace Youth Leadership Initiative at the Church of the Covenant on 42nd Street by the United Nations. Today we are celebrating the culture of peace, bringing young voices together that can build a process of sustainable peace in the world. We heard some powerful voices today on climate change, climate damage, indigenous people. Today you'll hear the Modern Day Prep Global Institute young people speak about how to build sustainable peace by creating something called the Educational Toolkit, which is an online digital learning board for mostly refugee children whose lives are in what we call a flux. Lives are basically being denied an education. So therefore, they can go to www.prepforpeace.org, where they'll find lessons that will carry them throughout the year. These lessons are for students, for parents, for teachers. It's an educational toolkit. Much of my work has to do with giving students and young people what we call the tools to create sustainable cultures and sustainable societies. It's not just a one-day process. If they come to my institute, it's a 3-year process where they learn diplomacy, negotiation, conflict resolution, and then they take these skills back into their communities on a local level, a national level, and a global level. This is where you create the change, by creating these connections, by creating projects where everyone can benefit. When the world benefits, when young people benefit, we benefit. This is how you build a culture of peace. Pathways to Peace and the Modern Day Prep Global Institute is both geared towards this process of building strong, safe communities throughout the world.
Hello, I'm Deborah Green, and I am the founder and CEO of Live a Moment, and I also work with Pathways to Peace on building peace technologies. And we are here today at the Empowering Youth Transforming Humanity Conference in honor of the 20th anniversary of the Culture of Peace. And we have 2 different projects that we are working on. We have the Live a Moment app that is set up to create the peace wave that the Culture of Peace has been working on for the last 20 years to help through technology to get people to pause at noon and reflect how they're feeling, and then it maps out how many people feel the same way as you at the same moment in time around the world. So getting outside of politics or religion and going straight for I feel, you feel, I breathe, you breathe, and trying to bridge into communities that way. And we're also building it so that we can license it and communities can create their own apps but still connect to a larger global whole. And we have artists from all over the world who have been involved with it. We've also been traveling around since before the last U.S. election. I traveled in a car for 10,000 miles around America and hit 40 states and interviewed hundreds of people about their state of peace. And we have this great tapestry of human emotion. And now we're involving the next generation and creating more peace travelers, so I'm not just the only one out interviewing, that we're working with Pathways to create this band of travelers to interview people about their state of peace and weave those stories together to build empathy and understanding.
Hello, I'm Annalie Hedges, a Dominican Catholic sister and also a professor at St. Peter's University in Jersey City. That's the Jesuits there. And Ricardo?
My name is Ricardo Pereira. I'm a fairly recent graduate of St. Peter's University. That's how I met Sister Annalie Hedges here, and we're both board members of the faith-based NGO, the International Public Policy Institute.
Right. And understanding of the culture of peace, that's a really terrific question. First of all, it implies that so many nations and everybody has their different cultures. Nations have different cultures. And that we need to learn to live together because we're different races, we have different habits, we have different foods, we grow different things, and different backgrounds and upbringings. And we grew up on different continents when you're talking globally. And so to live in peace, to respect the other and really cultivate, and learn to be very interested in finding out about what other people do, how they live, what they like. And I just want to point out that across the street at the United Nations since 2015, the flag of Palestine is finally there. And we celebrate that on September 30th, which is coming up. That's less than 5 years that flag has been there. And definitely, that was a long time coming. Ricardo.
From my work and how I've developed my understanding of the culture of peace is that it's just an ongoing effort by really everybody involved, not just people who are, say, politicians or diplomats or NGOs, but trying to get everybody, and that's all citizens, to be involved and understand that peace is something that they need to constantly strive towards. It's not something that can easily be achieved or attained, and even when it is attained, it's not something that can be maintained without working towards it. It's a constant effort, and peace is something that we all need to feel. It's something that we feel respect for others, people that we don't understand, people with different beliefs or from different walks of life. And it's also nonviolence. It's about caring for the earth. It's about caring for people of different races and religions. And it's really just an ongoing important effort that we need to try to achieve, yeah, I'd say that's what the culture of peace is to me. It's an ongoing effort to unite all peoples.
Thanks, Ricardo. I learned a lot from my student. Absolutely, I did. You know, I'm reminded of what our Second Secretary General of the United Nations, Dag Hammarskjöld, said. He was a very practical man. And he said very clearly that the United Nations job is not just to lift everybody up into heaven. That's unreal. But it is our job to do everything we can to keep people out of hell in the way they're forced to live.
Expanding it, saying, oh, let's apply it to our genes and let's apply it to the biosphere. So how this forced me to try to find out how do we build something that's on a completely different wavelength, for lack of a better word, that can endure all the confusion. And so from that moment, I was engaged with more indigenous people and technologists, trying to figure out how to fuse these traditional practices with technology. And I, through Dream, was basically guided into finding the Baha'i community. And I found that the modern Baha'i community and the historic Baha'i community has these incredible insights about how do we respond in the time we live in now, and what are the resources that this age has in order to face this kind of blind ignorance, or to, and
the contamination of water because of pipelines, and the rapid loss of hundreds of species. We recognize that indigenous peoples have been taking care of the earth for thousands of years. Society learned to respect that knowledge and took pieces from the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and embedded them in our daily lives. Let me start with Article 13, which states that indigenous peoples have the right to revitalize and transmit to future generations their histories and philosophies. So we included local indigenous education so that children would learn and take care of the earth from an early age. Then we looked at Article 18, which states that indigenous peoples have the right to participate in decision making in matters that would affect our rights. So we made it mandatory to have indigenous voices at all levels of decision making, from local to federal to international policy. And you all remember how we got here, right? It was the time when morality and pragmatism came together. Morality, which is a synonym for goodness and rightness, and pragmatism, which refers to dealing with things sensibly and mindfully, in a way that is based on real rather than theoretical considerations. It was a moment when we imagined a better world, but actually went beyond our imagination and started acting. For me, the moment when we imagined what our future could be like was 2007, when the United Nations put forward the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. I have read through it and I've circled my favorite articles. We went beyond our imagination and into action in the year 2019, where everyone not only came together, but realized that their hopes and dreams for a better future were not going to be achieved through competition, but through collaboration. The moment where everyone realized that in order to heal the world, we needed to heal each other. Most importantly, we realized that the solutions were not going to come from the same thinking that caused the crisis. One of the tipping points was the youth movement. Another tipping point was the intergenerationality that we achieved through the movement, the intercultural connection, and the